Hey, Pastor Steve Waldron. I hope you're having an incredible day or night in Jesus. We're doing a series on cults. I was part of the cult watch movement. Some would say I'm part of a cult, but that's a whole nother story, which I've dealt with in videos. And so we're just looking at various things, and some things like Gordon Melton and others have seen over the years. And we're looking at cults and slander. And I think evangelicalism many times borders on this, and evangelicals, whether, scholars, apologists, or just folks in the pew, just randomly calling somebody a cult because they believe in Jesus' name baptism, or they believe in modesty, or something along those lines, or distinction in dresses, and all of this kind of things. And that doesn't make somebody a cult. I would say cultism has more to do with authoritarianism, manipulativism, and bodily harmism in a sense as well. I believe God still heals. I believe healing is in the atonement. I've done a video on that. Not as much as I think Robin Johnson, his book, I think on the book of Acts, did a great job on this, that it's in the atonement, yes, but it's not put in ways that everybody who comes to God can be saved. Not everybody is going to be healed at that immediacy. And there were many people that weren't healed in the ministry of Jesus. I mean, you still had people that needed to be healed in Acts 5. You still had the lame man at the gate beautiful that Jesus would have been very close to. John 5, he goes and heals one guy, leaves everybody else there sick. So not everybody was healed in the ministry of Jesus as well. And so, but there's certain, I guess I'm making a point here. I mean, man, I've so many instances like snake handlers. That's a wild thing. There's very few of those anywhere in the world. I guess they're almost totally regulated in the United States of America, but I'm sure there's little groups of them all over the place. But not just snake handlers, but people that are just faith healers. They don't believe in medicine. They don't believe in doctors. They don't believe in all this. And so then a child dies or something like that. And so then you have the state looking out for the child's welfare, and we could debate whether that's the state's job, of course, parents and all this kind of stuff. I've known of parents that made, little children fast a long time. They would be emaciated because they felt like they had demons and stuff in them. So, I mean, yeah, there's certain things there that are just really bad. But again, I think, if everything's a cult, then nothing's a cult, or if almost everything. So you have to be very judicious in using that terminology. And I think, harm, and see, even the definition of harm, people are like, well, they were, this lady was on the fast track for a Wall Street career, and now she just wants to be a trad wife and have 8 kids and live on a farm, and because of her religious beliefs. Well, is that a cult? No, I think that's a personal decision. Now, if it was presented in a certain way, then possibly, in a manipulative, authoritative way, a real strong-armed way, then you could probably go into realms like that. But just because somebody makes those decisions, I think there's a lot of lack of allowing people to make their personal decisions. And I think a lot of it is, people just work hard, and they're, they got their families, and they're distracted by bread and circuses all over the place, metaphorically speaking. And so then they're just like, the Jews are bad, the whites are bad, the group is bad. And when God judges us as individuals and not as racial demographics, so to speak. So using the term cult just because you disagree with him, that's slander, and you need to be very careful. Thou shalt not bear false witness. Because a lot of things, like Mormonism, Jehovah's Witnesses, the fact of the matter is they're more dedicated than most apostolics. They're more dedicated than most. I mean, they just are. Going 2 years on a mission field, you know, they really don't even get to choose. Maybe they do now. I know at one point I don't think they did, but they may not still, that they have to pay for, make one phone call home to their moms or something. Jehovah's Witnesses signing up. They know everybody hates them. Jesus said, you'll be hated of all men for my name's sake. But, you know, they know this. And, you know, they still do it and all this. And Holiness Pentecostals, you know, they know they're going to be looked at and they're not going to, you know, have all this whatever. And it's so sometimes it's just easy to say, well, that's a cult. And so now I don't have to deal with it mentally. I've just said it's a cult. When you have to realize some of those definitions used by other people, just because it may be the dominant belief system where you're at, if you're in another situation where there's another dominant belief system or another governmental system, they might call you a cult. And you read like, well, and you do reap what you sow. So be very careful with throwing around the term cult and not dealing, because usually, what is that? It's the last line of fools or something. It's the last line of defense for fools to say certain things like that, you know, and make ad hominem arguments like that. And we get it all the time here on the channel, and it's unfortunate. So God bless you. We love you. Talk with you later. Bye-bye.